Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sports Card Advantage podcast. It is June 25th at 9:26 p.m., and the wonderful Bunk back from vacation, looking white as ever, my friend. How are you, sir?
I am not sunburnt. That is how I am.
Yes, you are not even tan. Never mind sunburnt. How was your vacation, sir?
It was good. It was good.
Plenty of
No complaints
Revolutionary
whatsoever.
War reading on the beach.
Yes, sir. You saw the book I was reading.
Absolutely. Did we win the war?
We did. I
Oh,
didn't finish the book, but I have to. It's the most I've read at once in 12 years.
wow. Spoiler alert. We won the war.
Well, on a beach, you got little kids running around now. Now they're getting old enough where I have a little time to read, so it was nice.
They can go out on their own. You don't have to worry about them as much.
Not as much, yeah.
Alrighty, so let's hop in. Episode 65. We're officially Medicare eligible. Couple of items for Sports Card Advantage podcast business. For those of you that are new, we ran a contest through ISA Grading. Jason Kuntz was a guest on the show a couple weeks ago. Was nice enough to give away some spots. So just as we're not even going to do a drawing, whoever submitted to us is going to be awarded a one free grading spot. So keep an eye on your email for that. As of now, no more submissions, no more anything. So if you're listening to this podcast or listening to previous podcasts, all submissions closed. If you did send us an email saying you wanted to be entered, you automatically win. We're going to cover, anything over the 5 spots for people that submitted, and so everybody that sent us an email will be given one free spot. You will get an email from me sometime in the next week with a coupon code that you can go to ISA Grading and use, and you can get one card graded. The other contest, I guess, that we've been doing is the T-shirt giveaway, Sports Card Advantage. Going to be doing some merch. We are finalizing the first 7 or 8 designs of shirts that we're going to be doing. So this will be the last week that you can enter for that. All you have to do is send us an email, say that you're interested in a free shirt, and we'll pick 5 winners on next week's pod. So just send us an email, info@sportscardadvantage.com, and just write T-shirt in the subject, or send us another. Put something in the body of the email, whatever it is. Just let us know that you're interested in the shirt. You will be asked to, you'll pick a design. So we'll send you a bunch of different choices. Pick which one you want. Send us your size. Send us an address, and then we'll ask you to provide us feedback on, the quality of the shirt, the designs, etc. So take 30 seconds to provide feedback, and you'll get a free shirt. I think that's it for one more item of note. National is literally 1 month and 1 day away from today. So Bunk will be at National. I unfortunately will not. More than likely, once we get to the end of July, I will be recovering from surgery by then. So Bunk will be representing the Sports Card Advantage podcast solo. If you are interested in meeting up with Bunk at National, send us an email, info@sportscardadvantage.com, and we'll probably try to set up a couple of different times for him to meet some people. Guys walk around and do some dollar box hunting or whatever else you want to do together. That'll
trade me your Adam Dunn cards.
Yes, or trade him your Adam Dunn cards. Whatever you feel you want to do. As always, sir, do you have any Sports Card Advantage podcast business?
No, you forbid me from the business.
Yes, I did, but I'll still ask. You're an equal you're an equal partner.
That is a sweet camo Padres hat you got on.
Oh yeah, this thing is awesome. I found
left coast days.
I found this on. I actually just got this.
Oh.
Yeah, they had a limited number of teams, so usually I rock Braves gear, but since they didn't have this in Braves at the time that I ordered, I fall back to my San Diego days and ordered the Padres version. They do have a Yankees version if you're looking for it.
Nah, that's sacrilege.
What, having camo on a Yankee hat?
Yeah, they wear it one day a year. No thanks. I
Yeah,
love camo, but if I'm going Yankees, give me the midnight blue.
Jesus. Get off my lawn. All right, here we go.
You asked.
All right, here we go. We're jumping in. First on the docket for today, we are talking Panini. The amount of posts that you are seeing on social media about the quality of the most recent Panini releases. We are talking about 2021 Prism Football and 2021 Prism Flawless, not Prism, 2021 Panini Flawless. The print quality has been absurdly terrible. You are seeing cards that are grossly off center. I actually extend a challenge out to anybody. Post us a link or send us an email. Find me a perfectly centered 2021 Prism card, and I have yet to be able to do it. Been shopping on eBay trying to find raw Prism to grade, and none of it centered. We've seen this week guys opening optic boxes that have no cards in them.
First
Uh,
off the line.
yeah, first off the line was a optic with no cards in the box. Today I saw a video that Card Porn posted that literally had a Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and Trey Lance auto in it back to back to back. Which obviously, if you're part of that box, it's fantastic, but that's not supposed to happen. Like that's just another indication of quality control issues that they're having. And
Was that the video that had the cards that were supposed to be in the first off the line release?
Yeah, yeah. So they were in the wrong product. They were in
Oh
they
yeah.
were all in the same box. So it, prices that are at for wax are at all time highs and quality is at all time lows. So there's a lot to unpack as far as a number one, how is Panini being held accountable for this? B, number two, like do you see sales slowing down to the point where it's going to hit them where it hurts and they actually have to do something about it? Because as far as I know, if you get fucked and there's nothing in your box, you may or may not get a response from Panini at all after you just dropped $1,000 or $2,000 on a box. So, where do we go from here as far as this goes? Is this going to have any kind of impact on the hobby?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're in a situation where the demand is so high for cards right now that they are just printing away, and I think the volume that they're printing at has caused them some clear issues. The biggest concern I have here is this got pushed back months and
Yeah,
months and months, and it's still dog crap. Like, how does that happen?
you can say shit, punk. People know that
No,
you're
I
an
know. I'm
adult.
just saying. Like, how does that happen?
I like
How do
honestly,
you delay a product this long?
I don't know. I mean, one of the things that you and I joked about was people are talking about the junk slab era. Well, the junk slab era is over because there's not enough. The quality is so bad on this year's rounds of Prism that even if anything and everything gets submitted, you're not going to have enough tens that it's going to be junk slab. Like the
So,
quality is
conspiracy theory, are you
horrific.
saying that this was done on purpose so that we have fewer tens?
It's possible. I mean, it's not impossible. So two things. So I have two theories here. One, when you have 18,000 Luca PSA tens, or whatever you have from
Or
2019 with
Acuñas or
Zion, or
Sotos. Who
Acuna,
knows?
et
He did
cetera, et
2018.
cetera. And then all of a sudden, the print quality is now terrible. So it's going to be very difficult to get a 10. Or Panini knows that they're not going to be around for that much longer. So they're going to print the shit out of everything they possibly can, make as much as they possibly can to boost the value of buying, somebody like Fanatics coming in and buying them out. That, the printers are just running off the rails and the quality's bad.
which circles back to the original point. The only way to stop it is don't buy it.
Yes, but obviously that's not working. People are
Right, and Panini knows that.
yeah, people are filling
Card
breaks.
companies know that.
I mean, the only so here's the shitty part about this is when Panini drops their, when the product first releases and it starts selling on their website and they go Dutch auction. Like literally, there's been shady things associated with those too because the prices are coming down so low that they're shutting it off. Like they're just like, all right, we're done, or they're just saying they're sold out, quote unquote. And then the problem is, so like first off the line, Prism dropped, and the price on that came all the way down to like $1,500 or $1,600 for first off the line. But now they're still charging $24.99 for retail, for the box. So the market dictated is not really willing to spend more than $1,600 for it, but they're still charging 50% more than what the market said that it's willing to pay.
Right, with lesser odds and different parallels.
Yeah, I mean the amount of in parallels that are in Prism now, it's like they increased it to like 30. Didn't you have some stat somewhere as far as how many parallels that they've now dropped into this?
Yeah, I was just having a conversation with somebody. I don't know if it was prison football, but yeah, there was 30 different refractors.
Yeah, I mean having 30 different
Oh
color.
no, that was the Topps Chrome Platinum
Oh,
had 30 refractors. So right, the day of the rainbow's over.
yeah, I mean it's out of control, and it's like you know, so you mix the economy and you mix poor print quality and you mix, is it harder to get tens at PSA right now? And it's becoming more and more of a challenge if you are somebody that doesn't have a massive budget to make money in this hobby, which is going to drive people out, unfortunately.
Or you could collect,
Yes,
but
you
you're not.
c-
But you're not collecting by buying a hobby box.
so so number one, yeah, you're not collecting by buying hobby boxes, and number two, do I want to collect cards that are crappy quality? Do I want, let's say I want to collect, I'm a
No,
Jets
use
fan and
2021 prison football or any team set. I wouldn't want to collect an entirely off-centered and binder it and look at it. It would
yeah,
look terrible.
I mean, that's the whole thing. So it's like, yeah, I could collect, but I mean, some of these products, are difficult. And then the other thing too is just like the flawless product, the price and the resale market are so far out of balance that it's insane. I mean, literally insane. And right now, if you wanted to buy a box of 2021 Panini Flawless Football, it's $10,000. And so if you look on, so I literally before we got on the pod, I tagged a whole bunch of stuff that ended tonight. So all this stuff ended within the last 24 hours. All these things would be basically your big box hits on a $10,000 box. So, you know, 2021 flawless Roger Staubach dual patch auto to 6, finished for $470. Panini flawless Najee Harris out of 25 on card auto, finished for $404. Davis Mills flawless football rookie sapphire gem out of 15, finished for $730. So you're like, okay, well, those aren't the big names and whatever, but these would still be, you know, the main primary, like big pulls for a box. Even if you multiplied these by 10, as far as you pulled 10 of these out of the box, you're still talking about making less than half of what you paid for the box. And then if you're like, okay, let's look at the big names. 2021 flawless Mac Jones dual rookie patch logo auto out of 15, four color patch went for $5,400. You still would not make your money back on that box because the other 9 cards are not going to sell for the other 5 grand. And so the only one that I've seen that's closed so far on eBay where you would have made your money back is a 2021 flawless Mac Jones debut signatures emerald auto out of 5. I mean, the odds are so low that you're going to make your money back buying one of these boxes. Even if you're buying into breaks, it's still going to be really expensive, and it's going to be almost impossible for you to make your money back. Even if you pull a big hit, you're still going to you'll break even and maybe double up. I mean, it's you have
Well,
bet.
I think there's not enough big hitters to even justify the gamble,
Yeah,
is what
I
you're
mean,
saying.
yeah, 20. So if you look at the 2020 flawless product and what came out of that, and the resale values on your Burrow and your Herbert, and even some of the other like patch autos, like the price of the boxes were cheaper. Number one, not by much, but some, and the hits that were selling for a lot more money. Now it's so far upside down that it's literally, I mean, it's fucking stealing. I mean, it is freaking stealing. You might as well just go into your local convenience store and buy scratch offs because you have a better chance of coming out on top. And if you want to chalk it up to entertainment, cool. Sitting at a blackjack table, hoping that you win. I mean, even that, it's like if I sit down at a blackjack table with $300, $500, I'll get hours of entertainment. I'm not going to lose my $500 in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, however long it takes to open a box or however long it takes to sit in a break. I will get my money's worth and have a chance to win. And this, it's just not, it's not there for me at all.
Yeah. I mean, again, I mean, what? Where do we go from here?
Well,
Like,
so once again, I'm going to bring back in the question of, does the hobby need regulation? Does the hobby, so it's like stock market, casinos, whatever. There's a regulatory body that if you get fucked, you have somebody that you can go to that will handle your situation and help you get recourse. Like right now, Panini, as far as I know, and I don't know this for a fact because I haven't reached out to them recently for any reason, but if you're reaching out to Panini for any kind of customer service concerns right now, you'll be lucky to get a response. Never mind get made whole. Is that
right, but
accurate?
it's not their problem that your box didn't yield more than you paid for it.
But if my box doesn't have any cards in it, it's their
Oh well,
problem.
yeah, stuff like that.
But
Stuff like
am
that's
am I
fine.
going to get a response?
They haven't responded to me about our missing redemptions. They don't care.
So
They don't
that's what
care.
I'm that is the question. I know that
It was over a year ago.
everybody hates regulation, but at some point, and I don't know whatever happened. There was a bunch of lawsuits against Panini for redemptions and some of this other stuff. I don't know if those went anywhere, but at some point, there's so much money involved with this hobby, in air quotes for those of you that aren't watching us on YouTube right now. And there needs to be some form of somebody that keeps an eye out on this, because it's 2022. There's zero excuse for these types of issues. Print issues, terrible quality issues. People are spending money. If you go buy a car and there's an anticipated level of quality that you're supposed to get when you go buy that car and it's not there, you have recourse. You're not getting what you paid for. You're not getting the value of what you paid for. And I just don't see that here.
Yeah, it's still a little different though, because unless you open one of those boxes on air and can prove that it was empty, Panini can't. Anyone could say, "Hey, my box was empty." Meanwhile, they took the pack and they took the pack, opened it, and took a picture of an open box, just like the ones you saw on the screen. I mean, there's no way for these companies to. I mean, at least they could respond or have some kind of policy protocol or something. But yeah, they don't even respond.
Yeah.
But
uh,
there's no way of knowing who's legit because there's so many scumbags in the hobby that they would just take advantage if they were just like if they were Amazon and just said, "Oh, we'll just ship you another one." That's never gonna happen.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, though, there are companies out there that have policies that yes, there is a certain level of trust and there is a certain level of acceptable shrinkage by people being scumbags, and
But I think there's a higher percentage of the scumbags that would exist in the hobby in the card industry if allowed an easier way to get
free.
made whole, as you say.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't disagree. But at the same time, if you record a video of you opening a box and there's nothing in it,
No, yeah, that should be slam dunk. You getting another one to me immediately.
yeah. And but I mean, that it's like the fact that we even have to say that every box you ever open, you got to record it because there may not be any cards in it,
No, no, it's
is
terrible.
terrible.
100%.
I mean, it's absolutely terrible. And it's just a question of has the hobby business gotten too big that it doesn't matter, that people just have to freaking bend over and take it up the tailpipe because that it's too big for it to matter and for anybody to care. Are people going to stop scratching the itch and stop buying boxes and stop buying into breaks? And if they don't, then there's no reason that Panini has to do a damn thing.
And that's why they're not going to do anything and haven't done anything because everything just goes on.
Yeah, I mean, and
Fart in
it's
the wind.
hope. And now it's just a matter of you have to hope somebody like Fanatics comes along and just buys them and fixes this, and
Well,
gets
you
it
got a few
back.
years for that, pal.
Not necessarily. If they buy Panini now, they own the licenses. They own all of it, and then they
Right.
can
Okay. All right.
then whatever products has already been produced, those runs go, and then now they can come in and start to put their stamp on things. Somebody like Fanatics greatly improves the chances that this won't happen because their brand is much bigger than just cards, and they can't risk the rest of their brand by one part of it being poison.
Right.
So I am hopeful that this gets fixed because it's just bad. It's just I mean, to me it's just a black eye, for this. And it just continues to come, like, today, there's somebody that posted a Trevor Lawrence auto that didn't have an auto on it.
Oh
And
boy.
more than likely it's like that's such a poor experience because you get all excited and that card could be money that could change your life, but there's no autograph on it, so it's not worth anything really.
Well, the sticker got stuck somewhere.
Well, yeah, exactly, but it didn't get stuck on the right on the card.
Yeah. I would love to follow that along to see if Panini does something about that.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to know whether or not Panini will actually make this person whole, and or they're gonna fuck them and say, "Well, we'll give you something of equal
Equal
value,"
value.
which is gonna be like a
That's
freaking
50-50.
yeah. You'll get like a Kenny Pickett auto, which is not going to be anywhere near the same as what you would have gotten for Trevor Lawrence.
Right. Well, it's times like these I'm happy I don't collect football.
Oh, I mean, yeah, we haven't seen anywhere near the level of issues with tops that or Bowman, that you're seeing with Panini.
Yeah, I mean, they're not angels by any means, but
Yeah,
yeah,
just the level of
they're
incompetence has not been there.
yeah, but it exists. They're pretty bad too. But yeah, the Panini's just been outrageous though.
Yeah. All right. Anything else about the state of Panini?
Nah,
All right.
we
Rant
killed them enough.
rant number 2 coming up for today's podcast.
Yeah,
Um, we, I guess you could say the word is
I
got.
can't get away from this guy.
Yeah, I guess the word would be extorted on eBay. It's
I didn't even think of it that way.
it's a new experience. So this is all part of the Steph Curry saga. So this has another chapter to it. So for those of you that did not listen to last week's episode,
We're not gonna rehash
we're
it.
not going to
Go
rehash it.
listen
Go
to it.
back and listen to last week's episode. But the Steph Curry card that we had, that we sold it. It did sell. Got
Got
pretty.
what we expected
Yeah,
it
it got
to.
it got
Nothing
exactly what we
crazy.
expected. The shipping cost that Bunk put on it was $8.
Whatever a USPS small flat rate box.
So
Anything above $500, I like putting in a small flat rate box because psychologically or not, I think if it's in a box by USPS, you pay a few extra bucks. I swear they take care of it better than a bubble mailer with a $1,000 card in it. So it was clearly stated that that's what you'd be paying, and
yeah,
that's how the card was going to be shipped.
So the shipping method and the shipping price stated in the
I think it was
auction.
945 is what eBay defaults to on there.
Okay. So the auction closes, and then we get an email from the guy that says he's ready to pay, but he will only pay if we waive the shipping cost.
No, he wanted instead of $10 for shipping, but it wasn't, it was 945, whatever it was. He was like, "Hey, ship this in a bubble mail for $4." I'm like, "No." I don't I'm not shipping in a bubble mailer because I listed it as small flat rate box because that's how I'm most comfortable sending it. And it was clearly stated. You knew that going in. So no, it's coming in flat rate box.
And then when we responded basically saying this is how we're going to ship it, this is how we feel most comfortable shipping it, to get there safe and, insured and all that. And he basically said, if you don't ship it the way I want you to ship it and take $5 off the shipping cost or $6 off the shipping cost, I'm not paying for the auction.
Yeah, well, he went even further than that. I actually stayed nice during the whole conversation because whether you believe it or not, eBay does read all transcripts of if there's ever a claim. So, yeah, he went on to tell me that in a world of 8% inflation, I should not get $10 for shipping on the card. Literally said, in 8% inflation, I should not get $10 for shipping.
Like any of that money's
First of
coming,
all,
like any of that money's coming to us.
yeah, you moron, it pays to ship the goddamn card, you idiot.
Oh,
And
yes.
in a world of 8% inflation, if you're crying over $6, don't buy a $700 card, moron.
Yes. I love it when Bunk
Like,
gets
like,
angry.
the level of stupidity. And this guy had a lot of feedback too. Like he's
Oh,
obviously
yeah.
been in eBay for a while, but it
Oh,
just tells me
please,
he does this
please,
all the time.
please shout him out so that people can understand not to sell to him and or block him.
It's not a heinous. It's heinous, but it's not like crazy.
It,
There are
dude,
far worse things where I
yeah.
share his name
At
over.
at the same time, if you have an issue, wait
No,
until
if I have any question about shipping, I do it before the
yeah,
auction or
email us
thing closes.
before the auction closes because now, since we have no recourse and eBay favors the seller heavily, I mean the buyer heavily, he can literally write in the thing, I'm not going to pay you. And there's nothing that we can do. The
He
only
literally wrote that multiple times. He's like, "Yeah, I'm not paying for this card now."
Yeah, the
So
only thing that and it wasn't even like my kid accidentally bid on it or the sun was in my, like, whatever. Like, there's just blatantly, unless you charge me less money for shipping, I'm not paying for it. The only recourse we have is to wait 4 days, cancel, and then we have to relist it. So it screws us in the fact that we were trying to sell this card literally to end on the day that the Warriors, like 2 days or 3 days after the Warriors won the title, going to get the most money possible for it. And now we have to wait another 2 weeks in order for the next auction to close. And we're going to wind up taking a hit on. So eBay fucks us twice because there's nothing we can do to this guy. We can't get our money. And now we're going to probably get 10 or 15% less for the card because the people that are FOMO buying aren't FOMO buying anymore because, it's already 2 weeks after they won the title.
yeah, yeah. But again, in a world of 8% inflation, he says you don't get $10 to ship a card. You're right. I don't, idiot.
Yes,
The U.S.
exactly.
Post Office gets it when I pay for the shipping, as it was clearly stated in the auction. So, yeah, that guy's a moron. I don't know how he functions or walks and talks at the same time, but that was his logic.
Well, feel free to share his
Spending
name.
$700 is my problem
Yeah, and
in
he has a
inflation.
few thousand. He had a few thousand feedback too, which means he's probably doing
Yeah,
it
he's
to.
got almost 3,000 feedback.
Yeah,
Mostly as a buyer, though. He doesn't look like he sells anything.
yeah.
I
Well, which me.
really wanted to, I didn't want to mark it accidentally as shipped or anything like that. I wanted to see where it was going.
Oh.
Love to know what part of the country this was.
All right. Before we go down a path that we don't want to go down on this podcast, I'm going to rein us back in. Are you going to share his name, or are you not going to share his name?
No, but if you email me, I will tell you who it is so you can block them personally.
Fair enough. All right. If any other things that you'd like to say about I mean, this goes to a bigger hole that also eBay, just like Panini, needs to step in and start doing something to improve this problem because people are literally shilling auctions to get prices up to get comps on 130, because 130 still reports one, for those of you who don't know, 130 point, the site that people use to find comps, they don't report, um
non-sales.
if somebody doesn't pay, those comps still show up, so you have no idea. So somebody will push an auction all the way up to have that print, that price printed on 130, and then people think that it's an actual real sale, and it completely screws up the value, and there's zero penalty. And this happens all the time with consigners, because we have sent hundreds of cards through DC Sports. This is not an ad. That's who we use for our consigner. We've had, and literally of every 20 card box that we send to DC, we have 4 or 5 non-payers. It doesn't matter the price. It could be a $12 card or
Yeah, it could be a good deal.
$800 card. Out of every box of 20, we're getting 4 to 5 non-payers.
Well, yeah. While I agree with all that, and there's got to be a way or a stiffer penalty for not paying. I mean, eBay did offer you an out there, and I could have put immediate pay required
Yeah,
on
but
the auction.
you get less money for that. I mean, potentially.
Well, yeah, because even when I go and I want to bid on something, I'm like, all right, put in your bid now. Put in, you're committing to buy, and you got to go through PayPal, and it's almost like, do I really want to do this? And then find out if you're going to accept my offer. And then if you do, it means it'll automatically take it out of your account. It's like people don't want to commit to that. So I agree. It's gonna when I see immediate pay on there now, I'm okay with it now. I have no issue with it. But I can see where people for the first time or whatever, they don't want to go through and put all their PayPal just to make an offer
Yeah.
and have it be standing there. Like, I get it. So yeah, I do think you lose out on some bidders or some people looking at your auction because of it. But that's where eBay will say, hey, we provided that as a way so
Yeah,
that it's
I
not an issue.
mean, the biggest problem is eBay's still the largest marketplace out there. So unless you have access to other places you can sell cards, I mean, eBay still gives you the best chance to get the most for your money. The only other place, if you have private groups, my
And listen,
slabs.
listen, even the private groups, people aren't spending $700, $800, $1,200 on a card. You have a card to move. As much as eBay sucks, and I know they suck, and the fees suck, it's the place to move the card.
Yeah,
You try to move stuff privately, it doesn't go anywhere. And every 100 cards you post at a big price point, maybe one moves because someone sees it at the right time.
yeah.
But
I mean,
you know,
that's the problem. I mean, yes, there are people out there, guys like, Roth and Ken Fornos and whatever, that are moving bigger pieces, and have some networks and stuff. But even that, if it's not the right card or if it's not the right price, it ain't gonna go. It ain't gonna go. And a lot of times the stuff that these guys are moving in private groups are buying on shows or selling for less than comp. So that's why that stuff can move
right?
privately.
But they have huge. They're big influencers and have thousands of followers. And you're just Joe Schmo in a private group of
Yeah,
in a nice trusted community. Maybe 75 people see the card you posted, as opposed to on eBay. How many think saw it?
millions. I mean, literally, you can have millions of people that see certain cards, depending on, or at least tens of thousands. And
Yeah, or you could see some of our bigger cards. They get hundreds, if not of views, which
yeah,
is way more than the maybe couple dozen
well,
that take a look.
and they'll definitely show up in thousands of searches. Whether or not people click on
Sure,
it, it'll definitely
sure,
show up in thousands of searches. So
yeah,
I don't know. There's a lot of things that need to get cleaned up, for things to function better. But we'll see what happens, and whether or not it's something that's going to get addressed.
yeah. But at the end of the day, they're not going to penalize buyers because if they penalize buyers and don't let them buy, they lose money.
Yeah,
And
I mean, but
that's the fact of the matter, and it's not changing.
I'm not adverse to, if you have 3 non-pay strikes, that your account gets suspended for a week. Or yeah, and if you do it
That's not going
again,
to do anything to anybody because it's still an out, and they come right back to the game.
at
What
least
what are they missing in a week?
it at least slows people down. And if you do it again for a certain amount of times, then your account just gets deleted, and then you have to start over. So if you're a buyer, you don't necessarily really care. But if you're buying and selling, you care about your feedback. You don't want it to build yourself back up.
Unless it hurts monetarily, it's never going to stop.
I don't disagree, but you can't fine people for non-payment. I mean, it's just that ain't gonna happen.
Why not? You're committing to buy.
It's just not gonna happen.
The legalese is there.
Yeah, the amount of credit card chargebacks and all kinds of other things, it'd be a nightmare,
Yeah.
nightmare. Because then you have all these people that are like, my son who's 6 months old and can't even fucking drool on
The
himself.
first person that gave me
Press the
that
button.
FPS, I refunded them, and after that, I'm like, no. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, your 7-year-old can unlock your phone, get into your eBay app, and buy a card. And if that's true, then shame on you and pay me.
yeah. I mean that's the most popular excuse that it's the kid and whatever. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, we've ranted
But
on this long enough.
let's buy $700 cards and complain about inflation in the same sentence.
Yes, exactly. All
Hold
right,
on.
let's move on. So we got an email from a listener by the name of Eric, who so a couple, I guess I don't know, this was about a month ago or so. We talked about trimming, and I believe that my position on trimming was misinterpreted. So he sent an email asking for some clarification. So we're gonna talk about this a little bit. I'll read the full thing that he sent, and I'll provide my 2 cents here. So it says, "Can you, Jeff, talk a little bit more about your opinion on why you think it's okay to have trim cards if it's in your PC?" Hey, learn how to read. You mentioned it in one of your podcasts. I was curious why it was okay even in your PC. I would think even holy grail PC stuff should eventually make its way back out into the wild, maybe not now, possibly 20, 30 years from now, and some poor unsuspecting schlub will get burned. This has to be bad for the hobby in general. I'm currently dealing with that right now. One of my most cherished childhood possessions, a mint Joe Montana rookie card I bought as a youth from a card shop. Super sharp, centered beauty. One of the first things I did on my return to the hobby was fire off the cherished PC stuff to PSA, and unfortunately returned
No.
ungradable.
Ugh.
This almost stopped my return to collecting dead in its tracks. I can see why you don't think I can't see why you don't think any trimmed card is okay, even PC stuff. I'm debating on using the Montana as fire starter for the next family camping trip. So it'll be one less altered card in the marketplace. So let me clarify my position here. My position is I don't think it's okay to trim your cards. Like, I don't think it's okay for you to, have a card that you see as off centered and for you to try to trim it and send it into PSA and get away with it. You know, I don't think that's good for the hobby. I don't think that's, good for anything. Um, but at the same time, if you have a trimmed, like if you sent in it, like your situation, if you sent in a card that you viewed as your prized possession and it came back that it was trimmed and ungradable, I still would have that card in my PC. As far as just like if it's a card that has sentimental value to you and you actually have something where you have your cards on display or you look at your cards or do whatever you're going to do with your cards, you should have to take one for the team and set it on fire. Like that's just something that's like, you know, not something that I agree with. I don't view it as, something that would taint my opinion of the card. If you're trying to go out there and sell trimmed cards off as not trimmed, that I think is not okay. But as far as it re-entering the marketplace in 20 to 30 years, if it's in your PC and you pass it on to your kids, then I mean it's something you address at that point. You maybe it's one of your last dying acts. You destroy the card so it doesn't make its way back out into the hobby. But I'm not taking the L and taking one for the team and destroying a card that had sentimental value to me or something that is important to me, for the betterment of the hobby. I don't think it's my responsibility to fall on that grenade. And I'm not going to destroy the card. I'd still keep it in my collection, and I'd still, find some way to slab it so that it's protected, and then use it as have it in my PC.
Um, yeah. I I mean, it's a great point about eventually it's going to get back or sold to somebody, or it's out of your family's hands. So, for example, if it looks as good as he says it does, and he takes pictures of that and puts it on eBay and doesn't disclose that it's been trimmed, it's going to go for a fortune because people are going to think it's going to gem well or
Yeah.
gem or
Yeah.
grade well. So I get it, like but he would do the right thing. It sounds like, and say this has been trimmed, or he'll get it authenticated, or whatever it may be. But unfortunately, most people are going to say, "Oh, I'm just gonna post this beautiful card, send it out, and I didn't know any better."
Yeah. And
So
that
it's a great discussion. Like I get it. He's absolutely right. Because you're right. Everything you own, it may be in someone else's hands at some point.
and yeah, and as I said, I don't disagree with that. And yes, if I am have this in my PC and 50 years from now, when my time comes, then yes, you can take it with you. Put it in the fucking casket and take it with you, so it doesn't go back out there. If that's what you want to, if that's what you want to do, and that's the obligation that you feel. But at the same time, I'm gonna enjoy that card for my time here on this planet in my PC, and I'm not gonna destroy it for the you know the betterment of the hobby. I believe in in hobby integrity, but at the same time, I still would want to enjoy what I have as far as my PC is concerned, and it wouldn't. If I'm not reselling it, the fact that it's trimmed and it looks great would not taint my opinion of it.
Yeah, in no way would I advise you having to get rid of it.
Yeah,
That- I would just say, if you're gonna get rid of it, disclose that it's been one steam trimmed. But
yeah,
yeah, if as a kid I bought a '93 SP Jeter at my local card shop and I've had it for 20 years, and then someone told me it was trimmed, I'm gonna keep it. I'm not gonna get rid of it.
yeah,
I would 100% keep it in my collection. Definitely not destroying it because it's been trimmed. I
yeah,
would just, one day, if it came, I disclose that it was.
yeah. And so for clarification of this point, I do not think it's okay to trim even if it's in your PC. I don't think it's okay to not disclose any of that. But
Well, yeah, you didn't trim your own PC card.
yeah,
Just you were just
I mean,
stating if I had it.
and honestly, if you have the means to do it and you can trim your own PC card, it's yours. It's your card. You can do whatever you want with it. You own it. The same as like if I want to customize my car, like it's my car. I can do whatever I want with it. And if I'm gonna take that with me or disclose whatever, then I have no issues with it. As long as you're not trying to pass it off as 100% legit and everything's been disclosed, or you take it with you, so to speak, then
Like
it's fine.
presumably the hobby shop owner did.
Which what?
The guy that sold him the Montana.
Oh,
Although he may not have even known
yeah,
it
he
was
may
trimmed
not
at
have
the
known
time.
either. I mean, back then, who knows as far as that goes. I mean, there's the sophistication of things back in the 80s was obviously a lot less than it is today.
I really envision one of those huge paper cutters that we used to have in elementary school. That's what people used to trim cards with. Really
Potentially. I
stuff.
mean, back in the 80s, there's no lasers or any of those other means to trim that, so it could be one of those paper
People use
cutters.
lasers to trim cards.
You could.
Oh,
I mean,
interesting.
you're.
I mean, I don't put anything past anyone anymore.
I mean, here's the thing: you have like, especially with some of the chrome stuff, you have to be able to cut it so that it
Yeah, there's no fraying, or it should
exactly
be straight.
yeah, it can't look like it was basically cut with a scissor or an exacto knife or something, because there has to be a seal on that edge, or else it's going to be easily identified as being trimmed. But
I mean, I think at this point, if you do anything to any edge, everyone knows it.
yeah,
I don't think you're getting trim cards past anybody much anymore.
true. But anyway, so that clarifies our point. Um, at least my stance on it. And Eric, if you have any other questions about it, feel free to send us another email. Happy to dialogue that with you over
I'd
email.
love to see pictures of
Yeah, yeah. Send us some pictures if you haven't already burned it.
it.
All right.
Hopefully that camper trip's later this summer.
Yeah. Moving right along, let's hop into, we have some investments and slab wars for this week. Um, so we're going to talk a little bit of basketball, a little bit of football. While I'm talking some basketball bunk, if you can, I didn't get a chance to pull the prices for the Slab Wars, so you can look those up, and I'm gonna run through some basketball stuff. All right, so basketball, I want to put somebody that should already be on your radar, and that's Jason Tatum. Tatum obviously got roasted in the finals and the playoffs because, setting the record for those turnovers and all these other things, yada, 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 which is, obviously not great. But once again, Tatum's 24 years old. He's been in the league for 4 years, or this is his fifth year. However, I'm not 100% sure. Um, he's still super
I think his
young.
rookie's 2017.
Yeah, so his rookie's 2017, so this would be his 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, fifth season. He is still amazingly young, and the Celtics are a great young team. They're gonna be back. He's gonna be battling it out in the East with Giannis for the next however many years. I mean, if you look at his career stats, when he came into the league versus now, he's gotten better every year. His numbers have improved. He's going to be, a top 10 player in the league for a while. And the fact that literally people dumped his stuff like the plague at the end of the finals was crazy. If you look at his PSA 10 optic hollow, that last sold for low fours. The pop on that's 383. I think that's a fantastic price. I think you could see a little bit of that. It could come down below that, but there is a ton of support from previous prices earlier this year at that $400 level, so it may not drop below it. So if you can get it right around 400 bucks. I don't think there's too much downside to that. It's something that you'll have to get now and hold through the season until, like basketball starts to get warmed up again. But I do think that there's definitely opportunities um, for Tatum. I don't think, this is literally his first finals, and he's going to be somebody. Him and Booker, a couple other guys are going to be the future of the NBA. Guys like LeBron and Durant and Curry, next few years are out. They're going to be out of the league, and it's going to be he's going to be one of the guys in the league. So I definitely think that there's opportunities to get some of his cards now. They're at all-time lows, basically over the last few years, the lowest prices they've ever been. So you can try to hold for another couple weeks, month, whatever it is, and see if the prices go any lower. But eventually, these things are going to start to bounce back and pop back up. So I would definitely be looking at Tatum. The other one for basketball is Zion. Um, there's a lot of people chattering about Zion. If you look at some of the pictures of him now, he has lost all of the weight. He is looking in insane shape. I mean, he was doing crazy stuff at the end of the season. It looks like he's probably lost another 15 pounds, 20 pounds since the end of the season. He's been out in, on courts and in pictures and freaking tank tops, tight shirts and whatever, and he looks like he's ready to go. So if he comes in healthy and returns to form, his cards probably double and triple, as at least an initial like bounce, because they're so deflated at this point. But you have seen some pops, on his cards and some increases. But I think, for example, looking at his optic hollow, last sold for 590 bucks. This thing could easily get back to $1,000. You know, easily. The pop's low, 513. And if he comes out in training camp and is looking like a beast, people love Zion. He's a quiet dude that people want to love. They want to own Zion. So, I think that there is no way that these things don't see a 2x bounce. You look at his optic hollow PSA 9, $150. This thing easily could be at $300. You know, Once again, pops are low, and if he shows up and is in shape and starts dunking on people and is putting up 25, 30 points a game, Pelicans, if he gets traded to like a big market team, forget about it. It's just gonna be massive. So I would definitely stash some Zion right now. I don't think that it's something that there's too much downside risk on. Unless he gets hurt again. Obviously, if he gets hurt again, all bets are off. But if he's healthy and he's putting up 25, 30 a game, whether or not it's in New Orleans or the Knicks or someplace else, his stuff's going to just skyrocket. Anything else to add for basketball, sir?
Well said.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to kick it over to Bunk to do Slab Wars. We are talking 2017 Donruss base. Patrick Mahomes. Normally, we don't talk a whole lot of base, but in this particular case, there is a method to this madness. So why don't you walk us through?
Yeah, so this one's definitely interesting. Um, we could speak to why. The problem with any kind of Donruss base is you got to try to my poor eyesight trying to discern which ones are the optic and which ones are the paper base. So that just sucks. So, but anyway, got an SGC, a PSA, an HGA, and a BGS. No CSGs, at least not greater than a 9.
All right.
But in any event, SGC 9.5, 250. PSA 9, 227. HGA 9.5, with the caveat of it had 210 subgrades, $400.
Wow.
BGS 9.5 was all over the place. So I put more stock in the auctions. So the average of the last 2 auctions was $300. However, there were buy it nows of upwards of $700-800 on some BGS 9.5s. Now they might also like why the HGA 9.5 was inflated. Probably had great subs, and as you'll see with the price of the PSA 10, maybe that's what they were hoping for. But then the PSA 10 is down. I mean, once at 1750 is now at 650.
Okay. So one of the reasons why we looked at this card specifically was the raw price. What is the average raw price that this is going for?
$90.
And therein lies why we're looking at this card. Because normally your PSA 9, HGA, SGC 995 are right around that same price as raw. And in this particular case, your PSA 9 is 2 to 3x your raw price, which provides you an opportunity that if you can get something naked eye looks good raw that you're buying online, that at the very least, if you can get a 9 on it, you'll still make $50 to $80 roughly, depending on what you wound up paying for it and how much you wound up paying to get it graded.
Yeah, and then the interesting thing with the PSA on this card is it has 1,243 tens and 4,250. Now again, it's a paper card, but 4,259. So there's an absorbent amount. God, I
Yeah.
can say that right. Amount of 9s compared to 10s, and the price is still what you said it is compared to the raw.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that there are that many, I mean, the gem rate on the card is not fantastic. So you're assuming that you will you most likely get a 9. Even so, but even that, if you spent $90 and you spent $30 to get it graded, so you're in it total 120, and you could make a $60 or $70 profit, that's still 50%. And that's where we're at right now in the hobby. There is not the 5, 10, 20x opportunities. What you're hoping for is that, in the words of the Mel Gibson in The Patriot, it's aim small, miss small. So as you buy something with low risk, you get that 9, you make 50%, or if you get lucky and you get the 10, then you're making that 5x. But even if you get an 8, you'll still basically roughly break even. So that's, this is where we're at right now as far as trying to make money. You have to, you know, risk reward has to be taken into consideration. It's not just going to be, I'm going to buy this card and 2 months later it's going to be worth 4 times what I paid for it. Now I'm going to make a whole lot of money. Like those days long gone in the hobby. And as the economy continues to slow down and inflation continues to go up, and more than likely card prices will continue to come down, you have to be very careful as far as if you're trying to invest long term. It doesn't really matter, but if you're trying to flip and side hustle and make a little bit of money, you got to get in, you got to get out. Because if you buy something now, it could be worth 50% less in 2 months, and then it doesn't matter what it grades for. I mean, we literally had a card that we bought and got a 10 on it, and we still broke even. We bought the card raw on eBay, and for whatever I don't remember between how long it took to grade and then for us to turn around and sell it, it was like 6 to 8 weeks. And by the time we turned around and sold it, we barely broke even on the card. We bought it raw, got a PSA 10, and barely broke even. So
Yeah.
you
and
got
and what do you make of the high, assuming no price manipulation? What do you make of the buy it nows that were 700-800 bucks on the DGS 9.5? Even on the HGA 9.5 that had 210 subgrades, if PSA 10's at 650, I mean, am I really gonna at this point trust HGA with 400 bucks to try to flip that into a PSA 10?
people don't know any better, unfortunately. And and people, I think the biggest thing, and I'm gonna plug some of our stuff here real quick. I think the biggest thing that people don't always realize is if you're buying and selling on eBay, how much that can take a chunk of your money.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
So
that's why the card calculator guy.
yeah, and as I said, I'm gonna plug, for those of you that don't know, we do have a card calculator. So if you go to sportscardadvantage.com and you go to tools and go to calculator, it will calculate eBay fees, taxes, grading fees, shipping, the whole 9 yards for you, so that if you buy and sell on eBay, you can know exactly what you're making for profit. So I'm actually going to do that right now with that. Buy it for 400 and sell it for 650 and see how much money you actually would make. So let's see, they bought it for 400, bought it on eBay. Let's see, pay what, $50 for that grading fee because it's over. The value be over 499, right?
You're you're converting it to PSA, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So that's going to be a grading fee of $55 because you have 50 for the grading and for shipping. Sell the card on eBay. We got 650. So if you bought the card on eBay for $400, got it graded, got the 10, and then sold it on eBay for 650, your profit would only be $84.
Yeah, and you didn't even include with the 400. Did it add like the tax and shipping
Yep,
that it cost to buy it?
yep, yep, yep. It
The
adds all that.
calculator does that,
The
guys.
calculator does that, guy.
Holy crap! Boy, I didn't even know that.
Yep.
That's
So
fantastic.
yeah, the calculator has three I guess aspects. One is minimum price for profit. So if you bought the card on eBay, it will tell you how much, if you're going to sell it on eBay, what the minimum price you need to sell it for on eBay in order to make $1 worth of profit. And then there's a short form calculation, which assumes 5% sales tax and certain fee. It factors in all the eBay fees. It factors in a flat tax of, I think, 5 or 6%, and then it calculates all that, and eBay seller fees. And then there's a long version where you can literally put in everything yourself. So if you're the type of guy that wants to put it in all down to the penny, you can input your state sales tax, what you paid for shipping, all every single detail, and it'll give you what your profit is at the end. So
Stuff.
in your head, you're like, I bought it for 400, I'm selling it for 650, I'm making $250, but you're only making 84. after all the fees and grading and everything else was all said and done. So it's, it's stuff that you got to keep in mind when you're trying to buy, crack, and flip. That if you're doing it on eBay and you're paying fees and all that, there's so much that's taken out of that it just eats away at a lot of your profitability. Anything else, sir, on the investment section?
No, sir.
All right. We have one other question, but this is going to be a longer conversation. We're at the hour mark. So the person who emailed us about talking about game used, player worn memorabilia cards, we'll add that to next week's discussion. We'll make
Man,
sure.
I was all fired up for this one.
Well, guy,
All right. Hey, listen.
we're at the
You're pushing the
hour.
buttons.
Yeah, we're at the hour. We like to try to, unless we have an interview, like to try to keep it around an hour. So, all right, just a quick wrap up. ISA contest. If you participated in that, expect an email from me this week. T-shirts. If you want to win a free T-shirt, send us an email, info@sportscardadvantage.com. Follow us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, SportsCardADVTG. Anything else for the fine folks for episode 65?
No. Have a great weekend.
All right, everybody, have a great weekend. We will be back sometime next week celebrating our nation's independence for July 4th. And we'll talk to y'all then.